if relationships are based in expectation, and you said partnership is based in, what did you say?
Accountability.
Accountability. Share with us the distinction and the difference.
Well, one way you can think about accountability is just to take it apart a little bit. Count on ability, or will be held to account for. In other words, partnerships are created by people agreeing, by people signing up for, by people saying, yeah, I'll be the one that does that. Yeah, I'll be responsible for that. I'll take care of that. That's my job. Yeah, no, I accept. That's my job. And imagine, if you will, that you do what I would call sort your expectations, right? So, which means you first have to become awake to having expectations. And it's so much the water we swim in, we're not even aware we had an expectation. There's just things that should have happened. I don't have expectations. That should have happened. And so you have to first wake up your brain. Like every time you think that should have happened, oh, that must be an expectation. I have an expectation. I notice I have an expectation. And you actually have to get really excited about noticing you have an expectation, when what we'll normally want to do is pretend we don't have one, or, oh no, I don't have expectations. Those are bad. Human beings have expectations, and they're mostly invisible. But if we can wake our brain up to the biggest job it has in life is to unveil our expectations and make us aware of them when they're happening so we can have a choice about them, your brain will actually do that. But you have to get really excited. Well, if you become aware that you have an expectation, then you can start to do something conscious. And what I recommend that people do is that they sort them. And so you could have an expectation that is actually something that you don't care about that. No, that actually isn't one of my values. That's just what I got. I picked that up along the way from my parents, my family, my culture, my girlfriends, my workplace. I'm supposed to have that, but I don't actually care about it. So that would be one kind of expectation. Another kind of expectation would be something that actually you need it. You need that. Bad things happen when you don't get that. There's consequences. And that's how you can tell when you need something, is that there are consequences, serious consequences of not getting it. For example, how much sleep do you need? Mm-hmm. Right? You know how much sleep you need by when you're suffering the consequences of not getting it. So, and a third possibility is that you don't need it. There aren't any consequences for not getting it. But oh my gosh, if that happened, right? So it's a happy maker. It's a bonus land. It's what I call the pinch me life. Pinch me, I must be dreaming.
Right.
So yeah, so those are amazing. And that's information that if we shared it with our partners, our life goes to a whole other level. And it's information that people mostly conceal because it's so vulnerable to share it. So let's just say we're not up to sharing our heart's desire, okay? Let's set that aside, we're not there yet. But now you've distinguished something that you actually need. Well, now you have the next problem. Are you going to commit to that need? And this is something that people don't do. They need something and then they go fishing for it. They don't go hunting for it. Like they're going to get it no matter what. They go fishing for it. Like, well, let's just throw out a net and see if it brings it in. And so that's where hinting comes from. Hinting is fishing for a need. And men don't speak hint. It doesn't register. It doesn't register for them. It doesn't have enough clarity or pressure in it to register for most men. So, and this, by the way, is what men have to do as well. They have to commit to what they need. And what happens for men and women at that point is, if you look at committing to getting that, the first thing it's going to drive up is that thing we were dealing with expectations, and that is, do you deserve it? Do you deserve to have this need met? Well, mostly people will only commit to the needs that they think they deserve. Well, but then that sets up that whole demand thing and submit and resist, and it gets all nasty. It's not going to work. And if you think you don't deserve it, you won't commit to it. And men, for example, if they think they don't deserve something they need, you will never know that they need that. It's just underground. They don't even complain about it. Because to a man, to have a weakness, to have a need is a weakness. So he's not going to show that he has a need because he doesn't want to show that he has a weakness. And he doesn't commit to the need unless he thinks he's earned it. And this, by the way, is a major source of what happens with sex between couples. Is if he thinks he's earned it, I went to work again today, I get to have sex, right? Right? Or he's befuddled because he's gone to work all month, and yet she still looks at him like he's crazy when he asks for sex. So is he still not done enough? I thought this would be enough to deserve sex. I still haven't done enough to deserve sex. Wow, I must be a really terrible person. What have I done wrong? Have I slighted her? Have I mistreated her? Is there something I should have provided for her? I mean, it's a downward spiral like crazy. We could spend hours just on that one. So I'm proposing something that's not normal for human beings, and that's that in a partnership, it's not about what you've earned. It's not about payback. It's not about, because you did this for me, I owe you this. It's, since we're partners, that means we're on the same team. That means we're in this together. That means something's only possible because we're both here, which means if you're in good shape, then we're in good shape. And if I'm in good shape, we're in good shape. And for us to be in good shape, we need us both to be in good shape. So what do you need and how can I help? Because I have everything at stake in you being in good shape, just as you have everything at stake in me being in good shape, which means you pretty much couldn't do anything kinder to me than to tell me what you need. If you tell me what you need, I can cause you to be the person I need you to be. What do you need to be happy? What do you need to be peaceful? What do you need to be satisfied? What do you need to be relaxed? What do you need? What can I do about that? Because I want you to be all those ways. And in fact, you being all those ways has a profound effect on me. Mm-hmm. Can you see how different it is?
Yeah. It's so profound. I mean, what we're talking about here is just so transformational. And so what's coming to me right now, Alison, is that yes, we all have expectations, and it's even okay, as you talked about the sorting process, it's even okay to sort and recognize that some of these expectations are deep needs, and it's okay to express them. And in a partnership, when you talked about accountability in a partnership, then more or less you're agreeing based on knowledge and requests of your partner's needs or expectations. You're agreeing to meet certain of those expectations. That's part of showing up in the partnership. If two people have a different need for sex, for example, a woman may not feel like she needs it as often as her man, but he's giving her love and support in other ways, then she may choose to be there for him in that way more frequently because she knows that's a deep need and expectation for him. I'm just kind of working with this idea. Am I kind of on the right track?
Yeah, you're doing really well. I mean, we're talking about transforming expectations into accountabilities. So which of them are just trash? We're just going to let it go. When it shows up, we're going to get over it. Oh, isn't that silly, right? Some of them would be a total bonus. Oh my gosh, if you gave that to me, I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. And then others are what really matters. And if we're going to engage in a partnership, there's more steps to it, because you want to work it all the way to the end. So if we're going to take your example, right? Let's say that, and it doesn't matter, because in couples, it's going to end up both ways depending on what's happening in life and their ages and their hormone levels. And sometimes she'll want sex more often, and sometimes he'll want sex more often. But let's just say one of them needs more sex. And sex has tremendous benefits in terms of mental and emotional and even physical well-being. So there's a tremendous cost to not having enough sex. So let's say enough sex for one partner is more than enough sex for the other partner, but they need them, right? Because that's sex. So if the partner who doesn't need it as much is willing to be accountable for providing sex, yeah, I'm your gal, I'm your guy. Well, then the question would be, okay, so you're signing up for my need for more sex. What do you need to be happy to have signed up for that? What do you need to not be having a consequence for having sex that you weren't looking for? What's my part in it? Well, maybe your part in it is when I agree to meet you in bed at 9 o'clock to have sex, your part is then to cause me to want to be there. I didn't want to be there when I showed up, but your job is to then want me to be there. Like, I want you to do this to me and this to me, and this is, you should touch me like this and say this like this, until my being there is the best thing I did all week. Thank goodness I signed up for this even when I didn't want to. And then say your partner says, okay, I'll do that. Then you ask the question, so what would you need to do that? So what would you need to give me that so I could give you the other? Well, let's see, what would I need? I need you to take a shower. Okay, I'll be accountable for taking a shower for when we've made an appointment to have sex. Okay, I can do that. Well, is there anything you need to take a shower? Well, yeah, I need you to put the baby to bed so I can take a shower, so I can be in bed, so you can make me want to have sex, so then you can have sex twice as often as you normally do. Okay, I'll put the baby to bed. Well, is there anything you need to put the baby to bed? I need you to remind me to put the baby to bed. So can you see it? It's just dialing it back all the way to what's going to be the initiating act. Where does it get started? And it's always good if where it gets started is the person who needs it the most. That they're the person who takes the first action. Does that make sense? You don't want the first action to begin with the person whose need didn't start this whole conversation in the first place.
Right.
You want to be in control of the initiation when it's your need, and you want to not have to be in charge of the initiation when it's not your need. That's a good way for it to never work out.